this morning. So my 9-year-old son gave up piano a term ago because he had developed a non-productive relationship with his piano teacher.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was becoming bad. I said, you know what, let's just leave it. Let's leave it for a term. There's another teacher. You can go back next term and see how you go. So he was nervous and he was uncomfortable, but he went on Monday. He came home lit up, totally lit up. Went upstairs, practiced, you know, came bursting downstairs this morning. He said, Mum, I can do it without the music already. I can do it without music. But what happened last night was he was so enthused about what he was now doing that he started to teach his younger sister. And it wasn't about him being totally competent and an expert or any of that. He just was desperate to share this new little spark that he had with his sister. And then he wanted to teach me. And, you know, like an hour later, it's 8:30. And I'm like, it's an hour after your bedtime, but let's just roll with this, because he was so enthusiastic. He just wanted to share. And
Yeah.
I thought to myself,
Yeah.
I have all these feelings of non-competence and you know, I was doing that sheet just then. I'm thinking, oh, I can't do that and I can't do that and I'm useless at that. But I am really enthusiastic about method.
Yeah.
And I would really like to share it.
Yeah.
So the shift from, you know, being a learner into
Yeah.
being a teacher, for me, is less about all those competencies and being actually competent or all those things, and just about having something that I would really like to share.
That's fantastic. Yay. That's the perfect story. Because in a way, we shouldn't even call ourselves ATM teachers. We're like sharing our ATM learnings or something. We are, yes, you know, that's, yeah. We're
Felicitators, that's it.
Yes, both of those things. I really like the word sharing. We're sharing our learning. I like that. That's a nice phrase, isn't it? That we're sharing our learning. So that therefore we're both on the journey. Did I tell you when I left here in January, I had, you know, because I self-reflect, who knew? Well, I don't look like I do, but I actually do. And I was thinking, you know, because I think you were enjoying getting into the dissecting ATMs. I can't remember exactly my train of thought, but I was thinking I'd taken too much. It sounds really weird, so just bear with my poor language, but I'd taken too much power in the room because I was demonstrating it and showing you all the stuff that I knew. And it's not a very sophisticated way of teaching. So I'm not saying that to get pity or anything. I'm just saying it's not a sophisticated way of teaching. A teacher who demonstrates how much they know is probably one of the lowest forms of teaching. And it's not congruent with the method. So as an ATM teacher, if you stand at the front and that's what you're doing is demonstrating how much you know, that's not what I would think of as a competent ATM teacher. Does that make sense? So I'm not saying that to give myself a hard time. You don't need to come and rescue me. That's, you know, I come from an environment where I'm paid to do that. You know, I'm paid to be an expert in a university. But it's not, when you look at me going, it's not what I want. It's not what I like to do here. And it's not to say that I'm going to hide my expertise either, because I'm not. That would be stupid. Yeah, true. Yeah. You just rescued me, which is lovely. Thank you. And that's, you know, it's true. Yeah, no, you shared your experience. That's fine. But it's really good for you to contemplate what you think personally it means. And I think that is such a great story about sharing learnings. So maybe we have to make a new practice standard.
Maybe we do, because I was going to grab the box yesterday and the moment went by that we're not really learning to be teachers. We're learning to be facilitators of learning. And we will talk more about, you know, how that is felicitated or facilitated depending on the time of day. But it's really important that we don't kind of trip into this, oh, I have to know stuff in order to be able to teach. What we have to be able to do is develop the skills in which we can create a learning environment that we have enough enough skill and experience to hold a safe space, but that in which we can all learn together. Because that is what the method is about.
Philippa, yeah.
This is just about felicitate.
Yep.
Is actually a better word
Then facilitate.
because it embodies joy.
Ah, how cool is that?
So it's just unconscious working.
No, I think it's a real choice because
Zoran doesn't make mistakes.
Oh, he doesn't make mistakes.
No.
yes, because
No, he
it
used that
comes,
totally on purpose. So I knew that there'd be.
yes,
now I know
because
the reason
in,
why.
Spanish,
Ah.
yeah, feliz is happy.
Ah.
Yes. Congratulations.
Ah.
So it's about to facilitate is dry, is actually dry, but to felicitate is what happens there.
Yeah, right. That's great.
Yeah.
That's
So
great.
Zoran should be honoured
Look,
by his use of words.
yeah, that he doesn't
Choice
make
of words.
he absolutely did on purpose. I just hadn't had a chance to ask him why he put it in there. No, absolutely, he would. And he's a deliberate man. He doesn't do things without a great deal of thought. That's why Jenny and I, whatever, we thank whoever we can that we can work with Zoran, because he just is amazing. You guys need to understand how lucky you are to have that. I know you do, but that's great.
But also comes to the psychosocial, physiological environment that you create.
Yeah.
If you facilitate, you have a very different attitude to if you're felicitating.
Yeah.
I like both.
Yes, but they are
They're
both valid.
complementary.
But in terms of your story.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Jane.
Getting back to your comment, and I'm not talking about you with this, teaching is a power thing.
Yeah. It has a power element to it.
Yeah, has a power element to it. My experience has been, having done many, many years of workshops, is that I fall into that when I don't feel really relaxed and competent about what I'm doing. So it becomes, you're there, I'm here, don't ask me any questions because I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, so it can be a compensatory thing, and it's just something that I'm aware of in myself. If I fall into that, I have to step back and say, okay, how much have I embodied this? Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we have to dig out that Merleau-Ponty article about experts and stuff like that. I know.
Yes, it is.
Oh, absolutely is okay. And that's why the Merleau-Ponty thing's quite good, because it goes through that. About knowing what you don't know is actually a really great place to be.
Yeah.
So
when you don't know that you don't know, that's a really bad place to be. Not bad, but it's not, because then you do the bullshit stuff.
Yeah. I just find in my work, if I say to people, I don't know, but I'll go and research it and find out for you.
Yeah.
People actually respect that more than, because they know when you're sort of bullshitting them. It's like, she doesn't know. Yeah. And they can tell.
Yeah.
So that they actually appreciate the fact that that you're honest, but you know where to go and find out. That's the thing.
That's right. And so in this article, I think it's the one, maybe it's the Dreyfus article, I can't remember. They talk about the difference between not knowing that you don't know and knowing that you don't know. And knowing that you don't know comes from a place of confidence, which is acceptable to people. So if you easily get away with saying I don't know, because people have confidence in you and you have confidence in yourself. Yeah. And you feel perfectly fine about not knowing because you know that you don't know. Does that make sense? Yeah. So the not knowing that you don't know is the yuckiest bit, because then you can look like a charlatan, because then you start making things up. I call it the arrogant ignorant, or the ignorant arrogant. They're my least favourite people, because they're very, very confident, but they don't even know what they don't know. They don't even begin to know what they don't know.
And they don't want to know.
I should be more tolerant. Sorry?
They don't want to know.
Well, see, if you don't know that you don't know, you're not going to do anything to know. That's the ignorance. Yeah. but and then the arrogance comes because, because I think they do know. Yes, can the box have a big chuck over?
So, Susan and Jenny, I'd be interested. Oh, and others, of course. Because I think that's lovely and a really good way of thinking about it. And I found that really helpful. Thank you, Beck. But when you're trying to share your joy, which I think is a really great way to think about it, how do you feel about the person who isn't sharing your joy? Like who you think's kind of actually you're not sure they're even still awake. Well, maybe they need a sleep. That's fine. Yeah. But so you are wanting to felicitate or facilitate a spark in them, and it's not. I just
it is. This is where it does involve self-examination around your ego and. So let's say with Beck's little boy, and that your little daughter was just bored shitless with this thing, and he didn't pick that up. That is a bit of a torture for the daughter, and she can respond in a couple of ways. She can love him a lot and pretend to be interested, or she can just say, "God, you're so boring. Go away, ugly big brother." How does he then? He has choices about reacting to that, and that is to feel really disappointed, but then that's his disappointment, and so that's his to deal with. It's not so you as these felicitators have to examine your expectations, and it is always about managing expectations. So the thing is to go in with that sense of joy, if you've got it, and the willingness to share without expectations of the other person. Yeah.
Enthusiasm is infectious, and so it is often easy when we're excited about something to enrol others into that. And that's where some of the delight of sharing what we do know comes and can become seductive, because it's really nice to be able to share something that we've discovered and learnt and pass it on to other people to save them the hassle of either being ignorant or having to figure it out for themselves. But then we can fall into what Susan was describing of being the expert and not actually felicitating or connecting into the experience of the other. My understanding of a facilitator of learning is someone who kind of draws out the innate knowledge or discovery from within the pupil. And so we need a combination of both. If there's no expertise put into the mix, we can end up wallowing around in ignorance and getting not very far. But if we can kind of balance the excitement of my knowledge and discovery with your curiosity about how that connects to your experience and what you also know, then we all benefit from that emergence of knowledge.
Yeah. And I think the other thing is that you've issued an invitation in the case of a class, and people have elected to come. So they're already there, because I was thinking, I am not in any way persuaded by the enthusiasm of the Jehovah's Witness that I pass. I pass 4, on my way to work every morning, I pass 4 stands of, as we used to call them, Joe Blows. No offence if anyone's a Joe. Well, that is offensive actually if you are a Jehovah's Witness and I just called you Joe Blow. Jehovah's Witness, I'll be respectful. I am in no way persuaded by their enthusiasm and their wish to share with me their spark of delight in their religion. I have no interest at all. And I'm ashamed to say sometimes I'm a little rude when they get too enthusiastic. But there was no invitation. They're on the street. I'm on the street. There's no pact.
There's
they
no
haven't
contract.
There's no understanding. They're approaching me. It's a cold call. So the people in the class that are lying on the floor here, they're not cold calls, to use a marketing term. They might not be piping hot calls, might be lukewarm, but they're there, and you have a right to offer your enthusiasm to them, as opposed to these people on the streets. One day I had, in one little block, and the blocks in Adelaide are quite tiny, in one block I had the offer of 4 Bibles in one block, Bibles shoved in my face. I found that really unfun. By the end of it, I'm really good at acting. I actually put a little sob in my voice. I went, "You are the 4th person in one block." So I did the little quiver in my voice, and he was mortified. I'm sorry to say, that was very manipulative. I made him feel really bad.
It may have been useful feedback so that he could avoid that in the
That's
future.
right. And it was feedback, and he said, "Oh, I am so sorry. I didn't realise. I'll go and spread us out a bit more." Spread your net. Anyway,